Yo, what's up guys, Boss here, and I'm back with another YouTube video, and this time we're going to be playing the Season 18 Global Tournament. So I'm using what in my opinion is the best Royal Giant deck right now in Clash Royale. So if you guys remember, the ewiz got a damage nerf 2 times, and the bats got a pretty big buff. Their hit speed on their first attack is much faster now, so I think bats are a really good replacement to the ewiz. The heal spirit is much worse now as well because it doesn't end up killing skeletons, bats, and it overall just does so much less damage, and it's a much weaker card now. So skeletons are the best replacement for that. And then I honestly prefer having log instead of the bar barrel. That was the other card that was in RG Ghost. I think log is better now than bar barrel because if you're using skeletons in the Royal Giant deck, you don't really need to have bar barrel because skeletons are a really good ground distraction, whereas when you had heal spirit, it was used a lot on offense. It was used kind of just to like heal up cards on defense. It wasn't really used as a distraction, so you don't really need to have the bar barrel anymore. Before we get in the first game, if you guys want to support me, you can use my credit code BOSS. You can use it in any Supercell game. It helps support me, helps support the channel, and I really appreciate all you guys who do use my code. It means a lot. So we're going to go ahead and search for the first game, going to 15 wins, trying to get all the rewards. And I also want your guys' opinion. Look at the new overlay. Let me know what you guys think. I can make some adjustments to it. Maybe you guys think the face cam portion's a little bit too big. I can ask the graphics designer for Tribe Gaming to make it smaller. But overall, hope you guys like the kind of the style of the new overlay without the live chat on the side. On the right side, if you guys remember, I used the exact same overlay that I used for streaming, and a lot of people were saying no point in having the live chat box here. And like I just said, overlay is not finalized. If you guys have any feedback or recommendations, more than open reading some of the comments under this video, seeing what you guys said. But anyway, let's get into the game here. It looks like this guy's using log bait, so we do have a pretty fast cycle. We should be able to keep up with his goblin barrels okay. We'll see here if he has the Inferno or maybe he has Tesla or Bomb Tower. We really don't know yet until he uses it because there's a few different log bait variants, of course. We're going to get a nice fireball off here, hitting the Dark Goblin as well as the Knight. And let's see what we want to do here. I think I might go RG in the back. Yeah, I'm definitely going to right now because I think we're like roughly even on Elixir, and I think he for sure has a building. And if you're against most buildings with RG, you want to be going in for RGs in the back because it allows you to outcycle their building. Like if they play a building on top of your RG, if you played it in the back, you can cycle back to another RG by the time they're back to another building. That's why it makes sense to do that. And it looks like he does have the Bomb Tower. Like I said, I didn't know if he had the Inferno, the Bomb Tower, or the Tesla. There's a few different buildings that you see in log bait. And this is exactly what I was talking about. By the time that if we were to play an RG at the bridge there, he wouldn't have had a Bomb Tower and cycle, but that was a really smart Goblin Barrel on his end because he knew that we didn't have a log in rotation. So I wasn't able to go for an RG, unfortunately, on offense. But it's perfectly fine. I think in double Elixir here, we'll have a really easy time breaking through, hopefully. I'm just going to log. The log should be able to hit the Dark Goblin. Yeah, it walks into it. Perfect. We could use a Hunter to defend his Goblin Barrels. Okay, perfect. Really nice Fisherman pulling away the Knight. Let's go for a Fireball on top of the Dark Goblin. Okay, he goes for delivery. RG, on the... really bad Bomb Tower. He overcommitted there. That's really bad for him, of course. I'm going to go for a log on the Goblin Barrel. We'll go Fisherman in the back. If he goes for his Skeleton Barrel, we can Hunter. So really nice Hunter there. I think I'm going to go RG because he might be forced to play his Bomb Tower right next to the Dark Goblin. And if that's the case, we can, of course, get a really good Fireball value right there, hitting the Bomb Tower and the Dark Goblin, and just like that, we're right back in this game, or have pretty much the same amount of damage dealt on his tower as he's done on ours. Because I feel like this type of matchup is better in double Elixir. Go for an RG here, Fisherman away the Knight. I'm going to Fireball the Bomb Tower again. Every single time he plays that Bomb Tower, that we're able to, where it's in range that we can hit the tower as well as his Bomb Tower, we're for sure going to take advantage of that as much as we possibly can. Ghost hopefully targets the Dark Goblin here. No, it's actually going to target the skeleton barrel first. We can activate, I think, the king tower here. So even though I missed the log, it's kind of a good thing because now we can activate the king tower. Really bad log on my end. I usually don't ever fall for Juku barrels, but to be honest, there was a lot going on and I was a little bit distracted, so that was kind of my bad. But luckily, like I said, it ended up being a good thing because we were able to get our king tower activated because of it. We're going to log his skeleton barrel here. We'll go for skeletons. Fisherman again, and all we really need to do is get one more RG hit or just cycle a couple fireballs on his tower. But I kind of want to play this safe. I don't know if I want to cycle fireballs unless he just like that gives us fireball value. Now all we need to do is fireball his tower one more time and log, and that is GG. Pretty good matchup for us. I mean, he played it, I guess, fairly well, but maybe, not really sure. Maybe he should have spaced out his bomb towers and the dark goblins, because we did get some really good fireball value throughout that match, and it was mostly because he didn't space out his dark goblin and the bomb tower. Like, he could have played the dark goblin on the left side of the tower instead of always playing it behind the king tower, and then when it ran up, it ended up being next to the bomb tower, if that makes sense. So that was probably the only thing that he could have done differently. I'm gonna go ahead and cycle skeletons, and he's going to go for a goblin barrel, so it looks like we're against log bait again, potentially. Could be a different variant, though. Maybe he's got OG log bait with Inferno. Who knows? We're going to cycle our fisherman in the back. He's got nice beard, so it's looking like OG log bait this time. Just go ahead and cycle. Ooh, really bad goblin gang. Yeah, that was... Oh my gosh. A really late goblin gang. And it's not even going to pull the ghosts. So we already start this game off really nicely. I think, in fact, we may have... I don't want to be, like, overconfident, but... I think we've already almost won at this point, because whenever I'm against a really good log bait player, it always ends up being usually within a few hundred damage, and because we already have this huge lead early on, I think he's going to have a really hard time coming back, especially if I can get the bats down to block the Inferno. Yeah, we do that successfully. Well played Ice Spirit on his part. He's going to end up shutting down the RG without it even getting to the tower, but like I said earlier in the last game, this is what I wanted to do in the previous match. I wanted to go for an RG when he already played his Inferno, and now we can do it because he's not pressuring us with a Goblin Barrel right away. So we're going to have... I'm actually going to do this and then see if we can activate the King Tower again. No, looks like this time we don't get the King Tower activation. I think it's because he might have played the Goblins one tile lower, or I messed up the skeleton placement, so unfortunately it didn't work like it did last game, but doesn't matter too much. We've already pretty much taken out his tower, so we should be completely fine here. We're just going to play bats here to finish this off. He might go for something behind it to kill the bats, or just let it be. 2 fireballs will finish off his tower, so we just got to keep that in mind. And yeah, he's going to have a really hard time taking our tower. Does he go for a prediction log here to take out the skeletons? Not really a prediction, but he had good reaction time, so that's going to force a ghost out of us. I think I'm just going to go for a fireball in his tower. It's double elixir now. I don't really think it's too risky. And this kind of allows us to also build up a push at the same time. And yeah, things are just looking so bad for him. This is why the bats, I think, are the best variant right now in this, because your cycle is so much faster, whereas if you have the ewiz, sometimes you can get out cycled easier, but the bats, your cycle's so clean, and if you're against anything like log bait or expo, you for sure have a much easier time of winning. I think we're just going to let him take the tower and go for the 2 crown, because crowns are important in the global tournament. I feel like I say this every single global tournament video, but just in case you guys don't know, I'll say it again when this match finishes so you know what I'm talking about. If there's tiebreakers, say you have the same amount of crowns as someone else, and this mostly applies if you're going for top 1,000 of the global tournament and you want to get the badge, or even you want to finish top 100 and get the emote, then this is important to keep in mind. So let me just show you guys what I'm talking about here. Look at this person who has 26 wins, who's in 50th place, has 40 crowns. This person has 41, and it goes up and up and up. So you can see the highest person who has 26 wins has 69 crowns. 69, nice. Anyway, so you get my point. When you have more crowns, you're actually ranked higher on the global tournament. Alright, anyway, let's get into the next game here. We'll give this guy the good luck. And we could probably just start by splitting bats. I think this is fine. He's going to go for a prince in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and fisherman, and then hopefully we can get skeletons down in time to take out this giant. Oh my gosh, guys, it looks like we're against logbait again. This is ridiculous. This reminds me of that one time where I was playing a global tournament, and I think I played golem 4 times in a row or something like that. Sometimes this happens. I guess we're getting a different variant, though, so at least it's getting switched up a little bit. But yeah, you guys can probably relate to this. You sometimes verse the same deck several times in a row. Obviously, no way you can control the matchmaking. That's just how it is, I guess. But I'm not complaining because, as I already said, logbait should be a really easy matchup, especially with bats. But yeah, my goodness, 3 different logbait decks: logbait bomb tower, logbait inferno, and now we are playing logbait rascals. What's next? Is it going to be like, I don't even know, logbait minion horde or something? I'm not really sure. These are the main logbait meta decks I can think of. I'm gonna go for a hunter, and then I think I'm gonna go for a royal giant. This is going to prevent the prince from killing the hunter, and then we can get a nice counter push because his prince is his main way of DPSing down the royal giant. So when that's taken care of, we're pretty much free to go in for royal giants aggressively, and we ended up getting a good amount of damage. If the hunter gets a shot, I think that should take the tower, but good log on his end last second, keeping it alive. And notice how I took damage there. Perfectly fine. If I'm using, you know, RG, and I know they don't have a correct response in cycle, I'm going aggressive, even if it means taking some damage, because I know I'm going to get more in the long run when he didn't have that prince in cycle. I don't think there's any way he stops this RG, so if I were him, I wouldn't even bother defending it, but it looks like he is going to go for a goblin gang, make an effort to defend, but as I just said, his tower was going down anyway. We still over 1,000 each, or nope, never mind, because the spear goblin just got another hit, but we still have a lot of hit points left on our tower. He could go for a princess at the bridge. If he does, I might go for a fireball. No, he's going to play it in the back, so playing this pretty passively considering he only has 30 seconds left to try to take our tower, so he has to be careful. That's a juke. I'm not going to fall for it this time like I did in the, I believe it was the first or second game, I can't really remember. So we can just cycle a fisherman. I could even, we probably could have gone for the 2 crown and maybe even given him the right tower, but it's better to play it safe than sorry. That's going to be GG. Nice win there. 3 logbaits in a row. Easy, you know, matchup, I would say. But at least now you guys are going to know how to play versus logbait. Alright, we should get something different here. I highly doubt we're going to play versus logbait 4 times in a row. I just don't see that happening. I would find it hard to believe, but you never know what's going to happen. I mean, it is, you know, 2020 Clash Royale, I guess, so, you know, I guess anything could happen. This guy's going to go for skeletons and log. I think it's different. I think this is going to be probably Expo or Hog. Because I just cycled my fisherman, if he does go for a hog, I'm probably going to... Okay, yeah, it's looking like Expo. This is going to be interesting to see this matchup with Expo getting nerfed, and in my opinion, guys, it got a really small nerf. I think, as some people ask me in the comments, what's my opinion on the Expo nerf? It's still viable. It's not a dead card. I think a lot of Expo players, of course, overreacted with the nerf because it's their main deck, so they're obviously frustrated their deck got nerfed, but in my opinion, Expo's still going to be viable. If you're a good Expo player, you can still finish top 100 with it, even top 50, if you're very good with it. What I'm going to do, though, is because I have bats, I can play this matchup very aggressively. When I had ewiz, I couldn't do this. But again, I think this is another matchup where you can... That's even easier when you have bats. So kind of like logbait, I think when you have RG bats, Expo's significantly easier as well because the bats are obnoxious for them. The reason why is... He already gave up, GG. The reason why is because when you go for bats... like in the middle, and if they Tesla, the Tesla gets distracted, and if they don't have an Ice Spirit in cycle, they have such a hard time defending your RG push, and they have to spend so much elixir. Your cycle also is so fast that it's so difficult for them to get an offensive Expo off, but when you have ewiz, they can get more fireball value. Ewiz is easy for them to stop because they can, of course, fully counter it with an Ice Spirit now. After the ewiz got a damage nerf, it can't kill an Ice Spirit in one hit, so Ice Spirit pretty much fully counters the ewiz. and they could go for skeletons. You know, there's so many ways they could counter it, but bats are very annoying for Expo players to deal with. So that's going to put us at 14 wins. Let's go for, I think we could go for one more game, and if this game's really fast, I could show a replay versus maybe a balloon deck. I could look through my battle log, show you guys, I think, a replay that would be beneficial for you guys to watch, because that game was so quick because he gave up so early. So we'll just see, though, how long this game is. This guy's going to go for an ice spirit. I guess we'll go for fisherman in the back. He's going to go for a log. So we'll see what this is. Okay, he's going to go for a Tesla. Could be Expo again. This is pretty crazy, guys. We versed Logbait 3 times in a row, and we might end up versing Expo 2 times in a row. So it's looking more and more like Expo once again, but it could be something else a little bit off meta. We'll have to see. And I think when we get in a good cycle, I'm going to do what I did in the previous game, go aggressive with RG Bats. Archers, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fireball them. It's a 4-for-3 trade, but, ooh, he's going to fireball the fisherman as well. I mean, I guess that's a smart play. I mean, it's a 3 elixir card, kind of like the archers are, and I'm not supporting it, so it's definitely the right play. He's going to log. I think I might go for RG Bats here. We'll see. He's going to Tesla. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go RG, and then I'm going to go ahead and play Bats. This is going to distract the Tesla. We can go Fisherman to try to pull away the Knight. Ooh, it's actually going to lock on the Tesla. I guess that's fine, and even though we didn't get damage, he spent so much elixir on defense that he shouldn't be able to go in for an Expo here. And even if he did, and he somehow had enough elixir, we're back to RG already because of how fast our cycle is, thanks to us having Bats in the deck. So you can see the Expo player can't really outcycle you when you have Bats instead of ewiz. We're going to go for a Ghost on top of this Ice Spirit. I can actually tell this guy's playing much better than the last guy did. He's pretty much so far played, oh my god, right as I say that, he misclicks the Tesla. But actually, he pushes it back with a log. So yeah, as I said, this guy's playing better, but I still think that Tesla wasn't that good, because even though he was able to retarget it, it kind of allowed us to, it forced more elixir out of him than he probably would have liked to spend. So good Ice Spirit on his end. Wow, he's playing this pretty well. Okay, I don't want to overcommit any more than I have to. I guess we'll just log this. Okay, nice. Alright, and then we just have to relax a little bit. So this guy's playing so much better. Okay, he's going to... Alright, that's going to be GG, guys. Sorry for not talking at the end of that game. This guy was actually surprisingly pretty good, considering I'm not even that far in the global tournament. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest, that guy played really well. I had to focus and like really concentrate. I have no idea who that guy is because he's not like any Expo player I recognize or anything like that. Maybe like he has, I don't know, like I actually don't even know who yeah, like who this Expo player is. But he played it pretty well. Like I would say almost as well as like Expo players in the top like 100 would play. Because like I said at the beginning, he wasn't really making mistakes. He I don't know, he just seemed to play it like 10 times better than this guy did. But yeah, it's still my matchup for sure. I just had to really focus and couldn't talk because, like I said, if I'm against someone better and if I'm talking, sometimes I get like a little distracted and don't play my best. But what I'm going to go ahead and do, guys, is share one replay. The reason why I want to share a replay is, well, I guess a lot of people say I should start recording earlier in the global tournament because you guys want to see off meta decks. So I guess let's go over this replay here. I'll put it on 2x speed. This is kind of a P.E.K.K.A, you know, elixir collector deck. It's off meta. I just want to show you this so you can see kind of how you would play against a balloon deck with this deck. And he has Zap for the bats, so it's honestly not the greatest matchup. But you can see there he goes for a late Zap, so he's not able to get the balloon to get a connection. Just wanted to show this replay just to give you guys a little bit of variety because we did play against a log bait 3 times in a row and then Expo twice. So just something a little bit off meta, just to, you know, fulfill the request of some people who've asked to see, you know, one off meta deck in the global tournament, like me playing against an off meta deck. But I pretty much, guys, here's my tip of advice. I think a lot of people tend to like freak out when they see a deck that they don't, you know, like know what it is, and they kind of like, you know, basically they might take damage early on because of the surprise factor, kind of like I did. But my biggest tip of advice is when you're versing off meta deck, just try to memorize all their cards, because if you memorize all their cards, there's of course going to be no more surprise factor. And just like every deck, you know, 8 cards, so just memorize all of them. And I would say like try to play calm, like play as you normally would. Just because they're using something off meta doesn't mean you should change your play style of the deck. Like you should still play aggressively because this is RG cycle and your defense is really strong. So that's my biggest tip of advice. And honestly, guys, playing versus off meta decks, especially when you're using this RG deck, I honestly think it's a good thing because you have, if you're versing like Witch, you know, Wizard, those types of cards that you would consider off meta, you have Fireball and Log, of course, which is a really good answer to them. So this was a nice win right here versus a P.E.K.K.A balloon deck. Just wanted to show that, and tons of other off meta decks here. So I really recommend this deck if you're like looking for, you know, something that deals good with off meta decks, because your Fireball gets so much value. You have a fast cycle, so if you're versus any kind of like heavy off meta deck, it's definitely a good deck pick for you. And that's why I think it's the best deck of the global tournament. So we're going to go ahead and strike here. I don't think the Minion Horde's that good. I don't think there's better things than the Zappies, and that's worse, unfortunately. That's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to like the video if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We managed to get all the rewards. Let me know what you want me to get to 20 wins with in the global tournament. I'm thinking of using Goblin Giant Sparky. You guys seem to love it when I make Goblin Giant Sparky videos. And because Goblin Giant just got a buff, I think it would be a really good idea. Let me know if you'd like to see Goblin Giant Sparky in the next video. Let me know if you have any suggestions or feedback for the overlay of what I should change about it. Maybe make the, you know, the webcam, the face cam box smaller if it's a little too large. But yeah, just let me know, guys. And thanks again. Until next time.